My name is Carrie Sheets. I'm with Quannex Building Products. I'd like to invite you to visit us at booth 1004 and learn how you can be a part of something bigger. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next session for today. It's the NRCan update. This is the policy framework, Energy Star update, and Q&A presented by Diana Charest and Fritz Gerald Fadois.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Diana Charest, and I'm the standards engineer supporting the Energy Star program and a number of other technical areas at NRCan. And with me today is Fritz Gerald Fadois. He is the manager in charge of the Energy Star program, including fenestration and many other products. We are pleased to be able to present to you today an update on NRCan policies and programs in the area. I'm not sure if the presentation slides are running or if you want me to share them, or would you like me to?
Yeah, Diana, you go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead and share them, and
Okay.
that way you'll have control of their movement.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So a while back in September 2022, just 2 months ago, we were visited by two key members of NRCan, Terry Adamson and Stéphane Labelle, who wanted to reconnect and discuss a number of key topics that are of particular concern to the fenestration industry. That conversation resulted in the presentation today, so that NRCan can inform stakeholders of upcoming key policies and answer questions on existing programs. So the program for today will delve into previous policies no longer in effect, such as the market transformation roadmap, the new Canada Green Buildings strategy, your questions on the current Canada Greener Homes program, an update on R&D projects led by CanMent, and an update on the Energy Star program. So the Pan-Canadian Framework on Clean Growth and Climate Change was published in 2016. And you may recall this was in relation to the Market Transformation Roadmap. The Pan-Canadian Framework was a result of collaboration between provincial and territorial energy mines ministers on the subject of the green economy and Canada's climate change commitments. As heating represents 64 to 83% of energy use in existing buildings, it made sense to reduce energy use in this space, especially for windows that can account for up to 35% of heat loss from a typical home. The Market Transformation Roadmap was developed in order to improve the efficiency of these products to the maximum levels that were deemed to be technologically and economically achievable by 2030. And so these aspirational goals were set out as shown in the following table. To that end, the Market Transformation Roadmap encouraged governments to collaborate with industry, academia, and professional associations, analyze and recommend avenues to address market barriers and promote energy efficient equipment in the building sector. And in 2021, the residential window space heating and water heating expert teams submitted their sector reports to Natural Resources Canada, and the reports highlighted evaluation of technologies against the 5 A's: availability, accessibility, affordability, acceptance, and awareness, and the progress that was made since the initial report was published in 2018. NRCan departmental priorities have been set out further in the 2021 mandate letter, including initiatives that encompass the grassroots work of the MTR teams. It directs the department to develop and implement a national net zero emissions building strategy to achieve net zero emissions from buildings by 2050, with interim milestones that include transitioning away from fossil fuel home heating systems and launching a community level net zero emissions home initiative. So in light of the new mandate letter commitment, the market transformation roadmap work will be reoriented and aligned with the priorities set under the Canada's Green Building Strategy. The department recognizes the work undertaken through the roadmap. It has been invaluable and provides a framework of expertise in the key areas of fenestration, space, and water heating. And NRCan continues its work in the energy efficiency space, and the expert team's membership will still be drawn upon in the future to inform the new mandate letter commitments. However, our approach of having a formal secretariat and regularly scheduled meetings will shift to support work that will inform new commitments and promote an as-needed basis of further adoption of advanced technologies. So to ensure that Canadians have access to high performance technologies that are cost effective and supports overarching net zero by 2050, we will continue to engage and collaborate with stakeholders. Engagement with stakeholders will be organized through the various working groups and committees that will be established under Canada's Green Building Strategy and in focused industry specific groups where suitable. At present, we're in the early stages of forming working groups and committees to address our net zero by 2050 objectives. So embarking upon this approach, we will ensure that Canadians have access to energy efficient and clean technologies, which are cost effective and supports overarching net zero by 2050 objectives. So the Canada Green Building Strategy builds on 6 years of commitment and focused investment in the building sector. Many of you may be familiar with the Greener Homes Grant Program and the complementary CMHC Greener Homes Loan Program. This slide provides an overview of various activities and programs that the government has undertaken since 2016. And more recently, the 2021 mandate letters tasked ministers with advancing new priorities to decarbonize the built environment, which has culminated in several initiatives in the emissions reduction plan and in budget 2022. So let's review the problem that we're trying to solve. As you know, emissions from the building sector are trending upward. The energy used in homes and buildings accounts for 13% of Canada's greenhouse emissions, even more, 18% if you include electricity-related emissions, and more still if we factor in embedded carbon in the materials. We are falling short of the projected emissions reduction target set in the PCF, and from where we need to get to net zero in building space. This is partially due to the growth in the housing stock, but it's also a result of weather variability and low retrofit rates. 75% of homes and buildings standing today will still be in use 30 years from now and will need retrofits. And so we see a dramatic increase in the rate of retrofits needed, currently around only 1 to 3 to 5%, and in the depth of retrofits to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from Canada's building stock. That means we need to influence millions of homeowners and building owners to upgrade insulation, change their heating systems, and replace windows and doors, maybe even before adding other sort of more superficial or nice to have things like a granite countertop in their kitchen. Nous devons élargir qu'ils sont considérés normalement comme un investissement dans la valeur de leur maison, mais pour y inclure l'efficacité énergétique et la carbone neutralité. Reducing emissions in Canada's built environment is a complex challenge that will require coordinated vision and action. Undoubtedly, this is a key framework that will lay out future programs and policies to come, and building upon ones that already exist. The road to net zero by 2050 will require a lot of collaboration and a lot of problem solving with stakeholders. Based on work to date since 2016, a number of key issues have been identified, which we continue to work on in collaboration with industry, provinces, and territories. We know that we need to dramatically accelerate retrofits, address affordability and housing supply challenges, And just like other parts of the economy, the sector is facing significant labor and supply shortages that are exacerbated by the COVID-related supply chain challenges. In the short term, we have the technology needed to get to 2030, but technology and process improvements are needed to support cost compression needed for scale up. We also need technologies to make the leap between 2030 and 2050. And each region in Canada will have diverse factors that impact their path to net zero. Ensuring Indigenous climate change leadership is reflected, utilizing existing Indigenous processes. Through this strategy, we need to mobilize national action to address these challenges and achieve three main objectives: build net zero and resilient from the start, accelerate the rate of deep retrofits, and transform the space, transform space and water heating. Our expectation is that the strategy provides a significant opportunity for economic benefits, creating jobs, saving costs, and new investments that will simultaneously address the climate emergency. To help frame discussions with our industry partners and with all of our stakeholders and partners in the space, NRCan put together a discussion paper earlier this summer. The paper focuses on actions we must take to achieve our three objectives: building net zero from the start, accelerating the rate of deep retrofits, and transforming space and water heating. We propose a number of areas requiring change if we are to achieve our emissions targets and realize net zero buildings. And those are discussed further in the paper. We launched the discussion paper in July at EMMC, the Ministers' Forum, and have subsequently shared it with industry partners, provinces, territories, Indigenous partners, and posted it on our engagement portal. And part of the discussion papers includes a series of questions which we have invited stakeholders to reflect and to submit their responses. The consultation period closed, and NRCan is currently reviewing submissions, but that doesn't mean that the consultation process is not ongoing still. We have also mapped our discussion paper along a sector pathway to net zero emissions to guide conversations with partners. We wish to develop a national building strategy, not a federal building strategy. And that means meeting our partners where they are, so we can move forward together towards a net zero building sector. The S-curve is proving a useful approach for dialogue, as it takes the proposed actions in this discussion paper and maps them over time. Partners can identify where they are on their own path and identify which levers and which actions might be most helpful to nudge them forward. And some of these policy levers and actions are in development, but many are also new and welcome additional input and ideas. Currently, we are working to wrap up stakeholder engagement on the discussion paper and entering a drafting phase, with the aim of releasing the strategy in the spring. And over the next few months, you will hear from us with what we've heard materials as details of some of the analysis we are pulling together is ready. So that's sort of an overview of where we're heading. And now let me turn our attention back to the Greener Homes program, because I know there have been a lot of questions on this, and NRCan sent us these questions for us to answer for all of you today. So let's begin by the Greener Homes activity update. As of October 17th, 2022, a total of over 206,000 grant applications have been received through the national portal, and up to 60,000 through our partners in Quebec and Nova Scotia. The Canada Greener Homes Initiatives has issued 90 million in grants to over 21,000 homeowners. And we were asked about any data on the process timelines and delays or improvements. And we found that there is a tremendous surge of interest at the launch of the program, which did lead to delays and backlogs in the processing of the applications. To meet the interest of Canadian homeowners and the volume of applicants, we have worked hard to ensure a service standard of 40 business days from the time we receive the final receipts and require documentation from the homeowner. And currently we are meeting the standard 92% of the time and getting faster as we go so that homeowners receive their grant payments as quickly as possible. And we are also making measurably significant progress on reducing correspondence backlogs, reducing wait times for Canadians to access an energy advisor, and the overall time it takes to complete the homeowner journey from the initial application to the final grant payment. We have preliminary figures to quantify these reductions, and we may be able to release them in the future. This is my colleagues from the Greener Homes program that is doing this work. When the client submits all the final documentation and the energy auditor finishes the second energy audit and submits it to NRCan, how long will it take for the client to receive final payment? That was the question posed. To that end, after the homeowner and the service organization has submitted all the necessary information into the portal, the homeowner can request a grant through the online Canada Greener Homes Grant Portal. Our program officers will then review the homeowner's file and documents to confirm the total amount of the grant eligible for the retrofits. And if there's any outstanding documents or questions, the program officer will contact the homeowner directly. This review can take up to 40 business days, and after our officers have reviewed the homeowner's file, the homeowner will be prompted to log in and to confirm the grant total. And at this stage, their retrofit journey is complete and their grant, a check, will be sent by mail. It can take up to 30 business days to process the payments, and the check will be mailed to the homeowner. Another question that has been raised is, once NRCan has approved the project for the 40K loan, how much time does the client have until they must complete the project? Can they wait 3 years, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Well, homeowners have 12 months following the date of the loan agreement to complete the retrofits, obtain the results of the post-retrofit evaluation, and request the final loan advance. For homeowners in northern and off-grid communities, the timeline to complete the work is extended to 24 months. Another question was, what is being done to address the shortage of requisite home energy advisors in order for the Greener Homes Initiative to get off the ground? That's a very good question. Energy advisors are working at full capacity serving homes across Canada. We have worked with a variety of organizations to address the high demand for energy evaluations by rolling out a number of measures, notably a $10 million energy advisor recruitment, training, and mentoring campaign to train up to 2,000 additional energy advisors. 18 projects are underway to support the recruitment of training of energy advisors. And additionally, we continue to support rounds of travel blitzes where energy advisors are traveling to rural and remote areas to assess a number of homes. And another question was, any possibility the before and after home energy requirement could be somehow eased? Unfortunately not, because in order to participate in the Canada Greener Homes Grant Initiative, a pre and post retrofit EnerGuide evaluation is required. The EnerGuide evaluation ensures the homeowner is provided with the best available information regarding how to improve energy efficiency of their home in accordance with the federal government's EnerGuide rating system. The EnerGuide evaluation provides valuable information and data about the home's overall energy performance. And this information is becoming more and more relevant for homeowners in terms of day-to-day energy habits, making energy improvement decisions, or buying a home. The assessment evaluates air leakage in the home, performance of the HVAC equipment, and any deficiencies in existing insulation, air sealing, and ventilation. For homeowners considering renovations, the energy advisor will recommend the upgrades and retrofits that will enhance energy efficiency throughout the home. These recommendations will then allow homeowners to make educated decisions about the upgrades that would be of highest priority and deliver the best return on investment. And so for these reasons, it's not possible to remove the pre and post retrofit EnerGuide evaluation. The next part of the questions had to do with the interest-free loan. I have contacted Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, who are in charge of this program. Unfortunately, they didn't reply to my email in time for this presentation, but that doesn't mean we can't continue on that email and try to get some response from them and answer your questions. So I can do that later with NRCan. All right. So NRCan asked us for more information on the Energy Star database and how it has changed over the past 2 years since version 5 was introduced January 1st, and later Greener Homes was introduced on May 2021, all against the backdrop of the pandemic. So we did some stats on the Energy Star database, and here you can see in chronological order how the numbers have changed. On January 1st, 2020, there were 382 manufacturers participating in the program. And then on May 26, 2021, at the start of the Greener Homes list, we had 367 manufacturers, 44 were removed, and 29 were added or re-signed or submitted updated data. And then currently we have 353 manufacturers. Since Greener Homes started, 64 were removed and 49 were added or re-signed. And the main reason why manufacturers were removed was due to going out of business or no longer being certified by their certification body. So we had to clean the database to match those records. The model counts show a significant drop from January 1st, 2022 due to NRC product delisting. So that's the bottom 3 rows. Which caused a lot of products to expire. As a result, the Energy Star database had to be closely reviewed to ensure validity of products. And at the moment, it's actually the cleanest it's ever been. Just so you are aware that this data is not the same as the Greener Homes list. Currently, the policy decision is for all records to remain on the Greener Homes list if they were Energy Star and they qualified at the beginning of their Greener Homes program. There have been some instances, though, where the ratings were found to be inaccurate, and those models were pulled from both the Greener Homes list and the Energy Star lists. And then here are some interesting stats on the compliance paths to Energy Star certification. It's evident that the vast majority of products qualify based on U factor. However, there are some that qualify based on ER only, particularly for sliding glass doors. Now, I'd like to talk to you about some projects that our colleagues at NRCan are currently doing for us. NRCan raised this as a possible topic of interest for stakeholders. So the first project I'd like to highlight that Anil Parekh is working on in collaboration, I believe, with Jeff Baker, is to understand what are the combinations of window components that can achieve an overall U factor of 0.82 watts per meter squared Kelvin at an affordable cost. So this is essentially the highest level of technologically possible. And we're looking at an NRC database, which shows all of the different design features of these windows to try to understand how are these windows constructed and how can we share this information with stakeholders at large, so that we may spread knowledge of building highest performance windows. Another noteworthy project is the Material Carbon Emissions Estimator. This project will build an Excel-based calculator to assess embedded carbon in fenestration products. Currently, there is no plan to feed this into a specific policy or program. However, it does support the broader conversations on embedded carbon in the building sector. And so it is foreseen to possibly be of great utility one day. We thought we'd like to take this opportunity to provide you some updates on Energy Star Canada program. There's been a recent technical update of importance to note, and that is that the Energy Star version 5.1 spec update has been canceled and a communique has been sent out to notify stakeholders. Version 5.1 was to become effective May 2023. However, it has been canceled in light of the new US Energy Star spec, which NRCan will aim to align with as closely as possible in a future spec update. The EPA recently finalized the U.S. Energy Star spec effective October 2023. And so NRCan is proposing to align with that, and the formal communique will be sent out with all the proposed changes. But for discussion now, I'd like to point out that we are considering U-factor recertification shall occur every 5 years, and the air leakage recertification shall occur every 10 years. So we will be exploring how that could be implemented. And as I mentioned, a formal communique with all the proposed changes will follow. Also, Energy Star Canada is reassessing performance levels for a 2025 spec update. The performance levels will be reviewed in order to ensure that the Energy Star products in the database reflect approximately 20 to 30% of the overall Canadian market, and that is to preserve brand integrity of Energy Star. And we currently have a market study underway led by Canada, and input from industry will be sought, so we appreciate any input. Thank you very much. I would like to speak to the compliance issues we are seeing currently in the Energy Star program. Fenestration represents nearly all of the non-compliance cases brought forward to Energy Star from the Canada Greener Homes Grant Program, and each and every window label is validated before a consumer can receive their grant, which means that labels must be correct and up to date. The most common issue being windows having outdated labels containing unauthorized Energy Star certification marks. A few reminders when it comes to labeling: to protect the integrity of your brand and the integrity of the Energy Star program, please ensure that the Energy Star logo is removed or covered on all expired products that are no longer certified. Energy Star strongly recommends notifying your downstream retailers and partners when a product is no longer Energy Star certified. Unauthorized use of the Energy Star certification mark may impact your participant agreement with NRCan, including disqualification from the Energy Star program. Energy Star is always available to support your participation in the program and answer any questions you may have about brand use and labeling. So please contact your account manager, Anne Alexander, for support, including the review of labels and marketing materials. We often get consumer requests to validate products, and when a label is outdated or missing, we have no choice but to tell the consumer that their product can be validated as Energy Star. In cases where this disqualifies the consumer from a grant, we often can't do anything to resolve the matter for the retailer or for the manufacturer. And now to talk a little about the Energy Star Canada Awards annual event. These awards recognize our participants for their outstanding achievements in promoting Energy Star certified products, buildings, and new homes in Canada. Winners receive specially designed digital winner logos for the year, special mention in our social media campaign recognition by the Minister of Natural Resources, and a frame certificate. And in 2022, we awarded 27 outstanding businesses, buildings, and organizations for their efforts. And some of the awards include Manufacturer of the Year for Windows and Doors, Promotional Campaign of the Year, a special recognitions, and sustained excellence. And 2023 marks our 21st Energy Star Canada Awards annual event. Please remember that January 5th, 2023, is when the application submission period opens. March 4th, 2023 is when the submission period closes, and the winners will be announced in June 2023. All Energy Star participants will be building owners and new home builders will be invited to apply for one or more awards. So please watch for a communique in December reminding you of the upcoming event. One last item to talk about is the Energy Efficiency Fenestration Steering Committee. So the steering committee was a key communication channel as the discussions were ongoing prior to the Energy Star Canada spec update, or version 5, which was effective January 2020. And the need fell off when the new specification was announced, and it has been dormant ever since. The steering committee is on our radar, and we are aware that our participants would like this committee to be revived. At this time, the Energy Star team is currently in a transitionary period as we have lost a few key members of our team. There's been a lot of growth and flux at NRCan. We've grown our programs, and also there's been a lot of people that have left as well. So any new program information or updates have been shared with our stakeholders via email or communique, and we will continue to keep our members informed. Those open lines of communications will be reestablished, though, very shortly, as we are launching the next tech spec update. As I mentioned, there's a market study underway, and we will be opening the lines of communications to bring stakeholders into discussion. So thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, my name is Diane Charest. I'm the standards engineer, and with me is Fitzgerald Fadwa. He's the Energy Star manager for all products. I will now open the floor should you have any questions. Thank you very much.
May I jump, Diana? Just to let you know, you can you can talk in French or English. We'll answer. We have both official languages. Would be able to answer the question on both official languages, please.
Hi, Diane. This is Brad from Marvin. I had a question on the Greener Home Program. Just doing the quick math of 21,000 jobs, $90 million. It was about $4,300 per job. Of that 4,300, do you know how that broke down? How much of that $4,300 was windows? Is that possible to provide that detail?
Yeah, I can look into that. How much is versus the other types of products, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Noted.
Hello, Diana. This is Cam Drew from Thermoproof Windows, located on Vancouver Island. In BC, the majority of homes in BC can experience overheating during the summer months due to high solar heat gain. And we also know in BC that we do not experience a lot of solar heat gain in the wintertime. The energy advisors in the West Coast, or maybe all in Canada, are using energy rating as a way to rate homes when running their energy advisor numbers, which favors high solar heat gain. Do you have anything on your radar to deal with the overheating in Canada that we're seeing in homes due to high solar heat gain?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I have a couple of things on my radar, not to say that they will be for sure going to be finalized, but I can speak to two different things. One is that we do talk with the energy advisors on a regular basis, and I believe some members here also participate in that. And I know that there's three different ways of calculating the the energy use for using windows, and there's three different types of calculations. They're struggling to see which one to use for a particular situation based on the information that's available. They mentioned that the easiest thing for them would just to have the information available if they had U factor and SHGC, for example, clearly set out in a label of some kind. Not all windows have Energy Star labels. But if they were able to obtain this information from a database or a label that was on every window, then it would be a lot easier for them to be able to just plug in U factor and SHGC and be able to calculate that, maybe instead of, to get a very accurate answer instead of ER, which is more of a buying tool, as you know, for consumers to rate windows, but is not necessarily the greatest tool for the points of use of energy advisor in assessment, home evaluation. So we have been considering, the benefit of labeling potentially for all windows, and that was discussed back in 2018 as well. Whether or not it makes sense to have regulations in place that would be able to inform everybody as to what exactly is the rating for a window, but that would require that all windows in Canada receive a rating, and that would be a huge undertaking. Today, I'm not suggesting that we are undertaking regulations for windows, but it is a tool in our toolbox that we are getting increasing interest in, I would say.
Hi, Diana. It's Thomas Noel from Nordic Windows and Doors. I just wanted to know, in the future, if ever there are changes in the amounts that are given for the, let's say, the interest-free loan, the 40,000, if the organizations can be informed ahead of time, the manufacturers, et cetera. For example, I know you're looking to the CMHC for the $1,400 per opening. We've had another 4 customers come back saying that CMHC have told them it's the max is $1,400 per opening, and they'll have, let's say, a bay window with that costs $7,000. So now they find it's misleading from the website, et cetera. So it's just, I'm not sure where to direct their questions, or because they're seeing they're getting false advertisement from the retail, but also from the government. So.
Okay, and that's not clearly available on the CMHC website, you're saying?
Yes, correct. Has not found that information.
Okay, I can raise that with CMHC as I get back to them, trying to obtain a response from them.
Hi, Diane. Is it possible to update the greener homes more than twice a year?
So the greener homes list is updated quarterly. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So it is updated quarterly. Would that be sufficient, do you think, or?
Oh, Barbara's saying the update on the website says it's only twice a year.
Oh, well, I just spoke with someone in the program and they told me quarterly, so perhaps the website needs to be updated. I'll send an email about that to the person in charge.
Okay, thanks. Yes, I will. I've been told to make sure that you do that, Diana. So remind me
I'm
to
writing them
make
all
sure you
down
do
here.
that. All right,
I
thanks.
can CC you if you like.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay, I think that's it. We'll look forward to that info on the loan program, because it sounds like it's creating a lot of confusion for us.
Would you know a contact person that you mentioned you were in charge in discussions with? I just haven't been able to get a response.
I don't have anybody at CMHC that I've spoken to.
Okay,
Thomas?
I'll keep looking.
Thomas is telling me that if you call CMHC, they tell you to call NRCan.
Okay. Not to worry. I will figure out who the person in charge is.
Thank you. Any more questions for Diana? Going once, twice? Diana, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch on the Energy Efficiency Steering Committee.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.